Hey everybody, this is the quarterfinal playoff game between the New York Jets and the Green Bay Packers. We have this is the game that was suspended yesterday due to Ron needing to go to work, so we now have the overtime period. So these guys are ready to go, and as you know, it was a last-minute drive that Tom got into field goal range and nailed a 53-yard field goal to make it 27-27. So Ron's been doing well with the bombs. See this screen? So as soon as they kick, it'll adjust. There you go. Kick goes 8 yards deep. The Jets will get the ball first. Does have Smallwood's touchdown on 11, so he decides to take it out, and he did one fell swoop, but he gets only to the 21-yard line. But worth the risk when you have a good returner like Wendell Smallwood. So here we go. Let's take a look at Freeman's carries. He's got 15 unfatigued carries left. My goodness. So there's no concern there. And Tom comes out with the same formation. Julio Jones, Kobe Fleener, Zach Ertz, and Allen Robinson. First down and 10 at the 21. Ron goes with his patented 4-3. He does bring Ngakwe in as the left end instead of the 5-0. I believe it's Lawrence Guy that he has over there as a 5 run defender, but not very much pass rush. Off tackle left to Freeman. So we're going to see some of those carries. Onside tackle +4+1. The free safety was double teaming Freeman. So that makes it second down and 6. How many carries does Ryan Matthews have? 5 of those left too. So he's got plenty of. If he wants to try to grind it out and run the ball, he can certainly do that. Ron, sensing the possible shift, has put Lawrence Guy back in there. Most of Ron's pass rush comes from this side of the line with Gerald McCoy and Ngakwe over here when he's in, as well as Trent Murphy coming in sometimes. Screen right to Ryan Matthews. When he gets the 4 linebacker, the white die 6 picks up 7 yards, and we're out to the 32. First down. That's a huge momentum builder as you get the ball first in overtime, pick up that first down, you get the other guy on his heels, maybe you can catch him making a mistake. Ryan Matthews stays in the game. 4 unfatigued carries left. Screen left to Ryan Matthews. I'm sorry, Ryan Matthews in there. Yep, did say that. So now he has four carries left, or 5 carries left, excuse me. And Freeman has 14 or so. But you lose 3 yards on first down. Thanks to that defender -3 or -1. That's the danger of trying to live in the flats. Is you don't get if you don't get a 6. If you do get a 6, you're golden. That's going to be a 20-yard pickup. If you don't get a 6, you have some of these negative numbers here that can put you in a bit of a hole. So the Jets come out 3 wide. Packers respond with a 3-3-5. Got the Ngakwe-Murphy combo over here. It's a slant to Zach Ertz covered by 6. Receiver reading incomplete. So now it's 3rd and 13. But just as quickly as the momentum was building for the Jets, it's now shifted to the Packers as they got the Jets in 3rd and long. The receiver reading would have been good to Freeman for 10 yards, but hindsight's always 20/20. Broadcast looks good. Oh, I should share this out too. Let's see what happens with these plays, then I'll jump over there. 3rd and 13. We've seen Tom go flat over there at the 0, thinking he might be pass rushing or doubling Robinson. He could go back to Ertz and hope he gets that receiver reading again and hits a 13 or a 14. It's an inside run draw to Freeman. Both guys covered by 4s are being covered. Defensive left tackle 0 or +9. 4th and 4, and Tom will punt here. So while he's doing the punt, let's go over here. Yard punt. Fair catch at the 20. That's where the Packers will take it. Here we go, 1st and 10 at the 20. All right, 27-27, overtime. And this is a playoff game, so we'll just keep going until we can't go anymore. Somebody will score eventually. Whoever scores next is going to win. Each team has already had the ball once. Green left to Chris Thompson. We haven't seen much of Chris Thompson, have we? And he drops it. Receiver reading hits it incomplete. Ron has Carlos Hyde in fatigue. He's got 11 carries, unforeseen carries from Chris Thompson. Now he's got a great card, off tackle and end run. So let's see if he starts using them. 3-3-5 is allowed in overtime. I was just checking that. Overtime is considered kind of like the last 2 minutes of the game. So Tom, I'm sure, is checking to see if he can play the 3-3-5. Checking the rules. While we're doing that, I can catch up on my reading of the forum. Here we go, we're playing again. So he stays with the 3-3-5. If there's any question about it being legal, it is. Got it right here in the Constitution. 3-3-5, anytime in overtime. There you go, folks. Oh, and I missed the play because of that. Ryan Tannehill takes a snap. Hunter Henry on a quick slant. There was a man in the zone. He had called a run out of a 3-3-5. Sometimes that works for you, sometimes it doesn't. You know, you go 3-3-5, you can double two guys, give them two double teams, or you can call run and even put two guys in a flat. Goes back to hide here. Interesting. 3rd and 2. Even with fatigue level 1, you get -1. That still gives him a good chance to pick up this first down. If he decides to run it. Okay, so slow down a bit. Understand that with the importance of the game. Inside run to hide. That's a 5-yard pickup. 6 minus 1 is 5. And you can see why he would use hide even fatigue level 1. Look at that card. You can guess right, that would have been first down. Pretty impactful card there. So 1st and 10, Chris Thompson comes back in. Each team picked up 1 first down on their opening possession of overtime. Question is, can Green Bay pick up a few more? Obviously, any turnover here would be huge. Screen right to Chris Thompson. There's a 5 there, guessed wrong. Short gain. Look at that Tannehill card. Picks up 18 yards, so that takes it down to the 49-yard line of the Jets. Ron has Tom on his heels, guessing wrong here. Tannehill's thrown 38 times for 370 yards. .936 to go. Well, it doesn't really matter. Time doesn't really matter anymore. Interesting that each team has 3 timeouts because it's an overtime game and limited. Off tackle left to Chris Thompson. It's a pass call. Nobody's in the zone. Another short gain. Ron is 5 yards away from being in good field goal range trying to end this. Take a look at that. Short gain, short gain. Man, those are just coming at the right time for him. Field goal. He is 2 through 9 and 12 from 13 all the way to 32. Even where he's at now, he's got a 2 through 7 chance. 1st and 10. Chris Thompson staying in there. He has been a huge part of this overtime game plan with Hyde being fatigued. Tom desperately needs this turnover. Quick out left to Hunter Henry. Guessed wrong, 0 men there. And Ron has just been on his game, long gain, 33 yards, down to the 2-yard line. Oh, my stars and garters. This one is coming to an end, folks, as the Jets are hanging by a precipice. That was a white dice 6, so even if he had left one guy there, it would have been a long gain. He decides to go for the field goal 2 yards away. I almost think you want to just pound it in there. Myers is 2 through 10 from here, but it's up and good. 2 through 11. Yeah, I guess you had a 35 out of 36 chance. And the Green Bay Packers, both the number 1 and the number 2 seeds in the SOMIFA playoffs, have been knocked out. Tom got a reprieve with a nice late-minute drive, but Ron was just all over him today, especially in the overtime period. Had him guessing wrong. Look at the other highlights here. We had 3 30-yard passes, 2 of them on white dice 6, 1 of them on a snake eyes. Tannehill's card, guessed right. Then we had a long gain on a guessed right on Tannehill's card again. Hunter Henry had that 33-yard catch we just saw. The Jets did have a 32-yard fumble advancement by Tyler Irvin after that fumble punt. But, man, this was just a huge offensive performance for the Green Bay Packers. 549 yards of offense. There's, it would have been tough for him to lose after having so many breaks and Tannehill throwing for over 300 yards. He wound up with over 400 yards. Carlos Hyde with 120. Just an impressive display by the Packers. Mike Evans, huge day, 6 catches for 153 yards. Hunter Henry, 6 catches for 94 yards. So the Packers advance. Yep, 500 yards of offense as they're saying their pleasantries to each other. Amazing game, guys, amazing game. Really fun to call it. And I almost wish it would have kept going for a couple more overtime periods because it was just a fun game to watch. Yeah, you had a couple of white die sixes. An empty zone there at the end. Let's see if we can get Ron on the horn for a post-game interview. I wonder if it'll come through. Let's see if this works.
Hello.
Hey, Ron.
How are you?
Good. I thought I'd do a little post-game interview on the broadcast. I wanted to get the thoughts from the winning coach. How do you feel after that amazing overtime victory?
Relieved.
That's a good way to put it. Did you, Tom picked up that first down in overtime. Were you worried he was just going to, march down the field, or are you feeling pretty comfortable that you could stop him?
Well, Tom's got a good offense, a good quarterback, and I was hoping that Freeman just didn't continue to hurt me. He was outstanding during the game. He ran for almost 10 yards a play. So I was hopeful I could stop him, but when he got the -3 on the first down, that really helped the situation, but by no means was I home.
Yeah, that's almost as good as a sack there. You get that flat pass that goes for -3 yardage, or -3 yards. Yeah, that was huge.
Yes, I thought that was the biggest play in overtime, but one of the biggest. It just put me in a position to be able to stop him.
Yeah, and then you seemed to totally have him off guard. You were running, he was guessing pass. You were passing, he was guessing run. So was that just dumb luck, or was that just something that you felt like you knew what he was going to call on defense, so you called the opposite?
Well, everybody worries about Chris Thompson, but you have to actually use him to make him viable.
Right.
But my strength is Tannehill in the flat, so I wanted to get a little something going and then mix Thompson in.
Right.
And I know Tom likes to do things with his linebackers that are very disruptive, so I just tried to mix it up. And the last play, I was real fortunate. I caught him with no men in the zone. Did I have a premonition of that? No, I did not. But I thought I could get a run call. Or if the worst, there'd only be one guy there.
Right.
Tannehill high percentage on that. Where Chris Thompson's got a boom or bust. If you call him on, he's like a neutered boy. You're not going to do much.
Right, absolutely. And I think that was a brilliant move of you on 3rd and short to go back to the fatigued Carlos Hyde, because even guessed right minus a yard, he had a very good chance of picking up that first down.
Yes, I looked at Hyde's card, and the only area where the hurt me was a 7, where he gets 2 yards.
Right.
But I still thought he was my best bet. And I kind of thought that's what would be going through Tom's mind, because I had established the flat pass. So I said, I'm just going to run right at him.
Yeah, and he seemed to be putting guys in zones, but in the wrong zone. So he would bring a guy, leave two guys in the middle, in the looking zone, and blitz a guy, plugging, the opposite off tackle to where you're running.
Yep.
Yeah, I think what I...
The off tackles in that in run zone, he was after. That's why I threw a few flats to Thompson, hoping he'd come up and try to hit the end run zone. I could get a receiver wrong.
Right.
I had decided in overtime I was going to go, hopefully, at Sherman's methodical march to the sea instead of going for a big play to Evans or Brent. I was just going to methodically try to go downfield. Now, it fell correctly for me, but I did not want to end the game on a Tannehill pick after the team had played so well to get green.
Gotcha. Makes sense. I got Tom here with us too. So Tom, what are your thoughts on the game? I know Ron just went through some of the things that he was thinking about in overtime. He seemed to have you guessing wrong in OT. So
the overtime was a little anticlimactic, I think. Anticlimactic for anyone watching. Not for Ron. He was very happy with the outcome. But yeah, I had a hard time. I feel like Ron coached a really good game, and I feel like he coached a better game than I did. I think I relied on a few too many long passes there in the fourth quarter, and got through the interception. Like 9 minutes left. I was at his 33. I think 2nd and 10. I could have run the ball a little more. We know that that's something that I do at times, is don't run the ball quite enough. But I never felt totally comfortable in this entire game offensively. My offensive running options were kind of the end run with Ryan Matthews, or running from the 3 wide with Freeman. But he was guessing a fair amount of run with Matthews in the game. I wasn't really ever able to make him pay for that. I think he was calling accurately against Matthews quite a bit. I think that was a big play for him. Freeman running linebacker from the 3 wide is a little boom or bust. If I hit the 8, it's great, but there's a lot of stuff that I can roll that's not that great. And I threw a couple of bombs that could hit me. I lost the turnover battle 3-1 or 2-0, you could say, because one was a Tannehill interception that I fumbled back. And I come into the game feeling like, well, I'm probably going to get, Tannehill's going to probably throw at least one interception. Hopefully I'll be at least even on the interceptions. I've got the good pass defense. Maybe I'll even be positive. And that didn't really materialize. And it was a crazy game. I mean, he was hitting those flat passes for 30 yards early on. He was throwing long pass rights and getting a couple completions. I got a 96-yard kick return for Wendell Smallwood. I had the miraculous. And, so there was stuff going both ways. But, I think Ron coached a more consistent game throughout. And I think that's the main reason that he won. And congratulations, Ron.
Thank you, Tom. I thought you played quite well. And obviously we played not as much in recent times, but over the years, and you've been more than a worthy opponent.
Yeah, well, Ron got a little bit of payback here. We were in the IFL, and we were, I think, I don't know if we were in the same division. In the same division, right, Ron, on the NFL side?
I think so. The IFL has stretched out for so many years. I just remember losing fairly consistently to you, and usually in nightmare fashion.
Yeah, right.
A man puts himself in position to have good things happen, be it luck, be it whatever, because that's a third of this game. There's your calls, your team, and the luck. But boy, I had a hard time getting through.
Yeah,
and it's always been that way. But you
Ron had horrible luck. I think you were not in the same division, so I think we played like once a year, and we played at least once or twice in the playoffs. Good teams were always like 10-4 or something like that. And Ron just had, for like 8 or 9 years, I'm not even joking, for like 8 or 9 years, Ron just had horrible luck every time he played me. Now, it wouldn't be a 40-0 game. It would just be, a quarterback snap fumble 1-3, 3 return for a touchdown, punt return fumble with like 5 minutes left in the game. I mean, it was ridiculous. And it was just like I felt like, well, this is crazy. I guess it's going to end eventually, but it never did. you know, and then finally Ron, I think a couple of years ago, beat me for the first time in a long time. And Ron's an excellent coach. It was all on luck, and so a small measure of revenge for him here. So you know.
Well, I can tell both of you guys it was a really fun game to watch. The back and forth, the yardage discrepancy, definitely favored the Packers. But some of that has to be on you have to add in the 96-yard kick return for a touchdown as part of the impact yards. You both had about this 25 to 29 first downs. You both had an excellent conversion rate on third downs, 62% for the Packers, 64% for the Jets. So you were each able to move the ball, and Jets had that one huge fourth down conversion, of course, on the game-tying field goal drive. But it was just an enjoyable game to watch, and I think Ron put it really nicely. A third of the game is luck, a third of the game is your cards, and a third of the game is your coaching. So I think that's an interesting way to look at things, and you can only control what you can control. I thought you both were, of course you're going to have second guesses on your calls. Everybody does that, but all in all, I thought it was a very well coached game and worthy of a playoff game. And that's another thing too. This year in SOMIFA, yes, the number 1 and number 2 seeds just got knocked out, but it's so balanced. That's the beauty of this league, is you don't have like some juggernaut, excellent team that's just going to mow over everybody in the playoffs, and the wild card teams have very little chance. Ron came into this playoffs as the number 11 seed, and he's going to be playing as one of the final 4 teams. So that's just shows the balance of the league and how well the games have been played. Well,
I think I think Ron's team was like 8-4, and lost like 3 of his last 4. But if you looked at it, but he played a lot of good teams in the regular season. He won some close games. He lost some close games. He had some blowouts. He got blown out a couple of times. But, Ron knows what he's doing. He's a real good coach. Carlos Hyde's got an excellent card. The receivers are excellent. The defense has got a lot of 5s and stuff like that. So, I think the key for him is whether or not Tannehill turns the ball over. I think if Tannehill turns the ball over 2 or 3 times, which he can do because a lot of interceptions on his card, then the team probably usually struggles. And when he plays a cleaner game, it's probably a very tough team.
Yeah. And Green Bay also had 10 extra minutes of time of possession. But again, some of that has to do with the kick return touchdown. And some of that is just the way he plays on the field with Tannehill, with flat passes and runs.
Yeah, one of the things I said coming to the game, I said you have to stick with the run. Because Ron, I was looking at some of his defensive stuff, pass overwhelmingly and double teaming a fair amount. I was like, oh, you have to stick with the run, but he was sprinkling in enough run calls, especially with Matthews in the game, that it was hard. And I just didn't have a lot of confidence in like 1st and 10. I'm going to go 3 wide, 1 halfback and run Freeman up the middle, and that's going to be a way to sustain offense. I just didn't have confidence in that. I'm not a guy who feels real comfortable with the 3 wide like Nathan or certainly Dale Ripley. So I don't know. Maybe I should have done more of that. I definitely probably threw a few too many bombs, but all season Luck was hot with the bomb. So I was like, hey, this is what got me here. Going for touchdowns and not for field goals. So when I get to the 40 or 35 or 30, maybe I'll throw a bomb. And I threw one that got picked off with about 8.5 minutes left or 10 minutes left. How much time was left?
Yeah,
10:30 left. When I probably would have taken the lead if I had played a little more conventionally. But I want to get touchdowns over field goals, and I wasn't stopping Ron. He was hitting long passes and running and this and that, and I was like, what am I going to do? I'm going to kick a field goal, and I'm going to hope I'm going to stop him. He was moving the ball up and down the field, and it just didn't seem very likely. But but that's what happens. If you're going to play with fire, sometimes you're going to hit, and sometimes you're going to get burned.
Yeah, and that's the way you want to go out. You don't want to go out being too conservative, because you hit those big plays in the playoffs, they could pay off big time. So
yeah,
that's a good point. I'm known as a conservative coach, and that's probably a reasonably fair expectation. I do feel that I call pretty good offensive game often, but I, unlike Tom, don't throw enough bombs at times, or you guys. And guys get comfortable if you don't do it enough. And I didn't have a super elaborate game plan, but one of my plans were, come hell or high water, I was going to heave at least 5 bombs. in spots that I thought would be advantageous and hopefully hit something, but at the very least make the other guy think that I'm willing to do it.
Yeah.
Well, you certainly threw enough bombs in this game, Ron.
Well, I figure you study things pretty carefully and you say, well, this guy doesn't throw any bombs, so I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I looked at your receiver averages and I looked at your offensive tendencies on that chart in the league manager, and you were throwing a fair amount of bombs. You were throwing like 6 or 7% bombs or whatever, and I think you threw like 46 bombs in the season. I was like, all right, this guy is going to throw some bombs, and why wouldn't you? With Evans and Kenny Britton, Tannehill's got completions, though he also has picks. So I was like, all right, Ron's probably going to throw some bombs. I wanted to give Mike Evans a lot of attention. I probably should have given him more attention. 6 catches, 153 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Of anything going into the game, I knew that you had set on Evans, Sean. It was just a given. It's an obvious.
Of course.
You're a smart guy. So it's like, I was sure you was going to want to take him away from me. So at least initially, I had to establish other means of moving the ball than trying to get the ball to Evans, and then filter him in the game plan as the game went on.
Yeah, well, I think you did a great job with that, because I think what happens, like all the experienced coaches, we know, okay, he's got a great receiver covered by a 4. So the cat and mouse is already starting before the game starts. Like, okay, he knows, he thinks I'm going to cover, he thinks I'm going to double cover Evans, so he's probably not going to throw to Evans, so maybe I shouldn't bother double covering Evans, maybe I should do something else. But you did a nice job, I really felt, all game long, of sprinkling Evans in enough that you weren't going to be getting obviously double teamed all the time, but that I had to really respect him, that I had to give him doubles, you know? And, you know, I talked a lot, I think, the last few months or whatever, about guys making sure they call run enough. I might have called a little too much run defensively in this game. You know, I gave you quite a few passing guess wrong opportunities. Pass guess wrong with no men. But I give you quite a few guess wrong opportunities, trying to keep Carlos Hyde in check. He's got a very good card. And I knew I couldn't let you run up and down the field on me. So much for that idea. But I might have called a little too much running defense. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think Tannehill's strength is the guess wrong run. But, you know, you can't just let Carlos Hyde run guess wrong all the time. So I don't know if it was necessarily too much. It just came at the wrong time, especially in that overtime period where it seemed like every.
Oh, that was
brutal.
Well,
yes, yeah. That was easy. That was too easy for Ron.
Tannehill had 2. If he had 3 bottles in his card, I gave the 9, I saw it twice.
He
and I know he hit the 30-yarder, which is right next to an interception.
Yeah, he hit the 30. Snake Eyes guessed right. He hit 1 long gain on his own card, which turned into a 35-yard gain, and then 3.
I thought that was a long gain touchdown.
Yeah, and then
the 56-yarder Evans, wasn't that a long gain right on Tannehill's card?
Was that a long gain right or a dump off for long gain? I can't remember.
No, I think the Evans touchdown was a long pass right, long gain in Tannehill's card. Do you remember that at all, Ron, or no?
I was thinking it was a 9. I thought perhaps I ran 2 9s.
Yeah, so that's it.
During the game.
So 2 9s and a Snake Eyes then, and then the 3 flat pass 30s.
Makes it rough on defense, I'll tell you. But I can't.
Phenomenal getting big plays in the flats for me throughout the playoffs. And I'll probably play next to this or
No, I'm out. I lost yesterday, so you're going to be playing.
You're going to be going either
San Diego or who
Atlanta.
Won the first round?
Atlanta.
You're going to be playing either TJ or Nathan.
Yeah.
You're playing either San Diego Chargers or Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, Ron. Tonight at 8:00 Eastern is Houston, which is Paul, at San Diego, which is TJ. If TJ wins that game, you will play him. If TJ loses, you'll play Nathan.
Okay, now who do they have a quarterback?
I think Nathan has Matt Ryan.
Nathan's got Kirk Cousins.
Oh, Kirk Cousins.
TJ's got Tom. Yeah, TJ's got Tom Brady, and his running back card is not that great. Who's that guy? He's got Tim Hightower, maybe someone like that. And Nathan's got the big time offense with Kirk Cousins and LaShawn McCoy and T.Y. Hilton and stuff like that. He's got a lot of 4s and 0s on defense, plays a 3-4. TJ plays a 3-4 with a very strong secondary, but a modest to slightly weak front 7, certainly by his previous standards.
Well, as Dennis said, this is a well-balanced league with teams and coaches. There's never a breather. I mean, occasionally you feel relieved you run into a Jay Cutler, but that's few and far between.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right,
yeah, absolutely. Even in the regular season, almost every game, you're playing against a very good coach, and unless his team is totally rebuilding, he can definitely beat you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Last point before I get out of here. The game was never more than a single score apart. There were 11 scores in the game. Each one either gave one team a lead or tied the game. That was pretty nice. Really fun game to watch. So one last thing. One last thing, Dennis. One silver lining for the Jets. Yes.
It improved my draft. It improved my draft position.
Absolutely. Always about the draft with you, Tom.
This is not the way you want to improve your draft position, though.
I said I appreciate you guys doing the work you do in the broadcast, and I heartfeltly apologize that I had to run into work. I actually was supposed to be at work at 3 o'clock yesterday, so it wasn't anything unsportsmanlike or anything on my part. I felt bad I had to go, but somebody got sick at work and they were short, so I appreciate you rolling with the tide and letting me finish it this morning.
No, it's no problem. It's actually it boosted the ratings as the SOMIFA dominated the primetime ratings last night and again today. So we're good.
Yeah, no problem, Ron. We took long enough trying to play that game. These things happen. No problem. Congratulations again.
You really said at the end when I thought it was over the first time. You had a hell of a season, and you did a wonderful job. It's kind of one of those games. It's too bad anybody had to lose, but that's always the case.
That's true. All right, Ron, I'll see you around. Great job, and I'll be calling your next round game, I'm sure. So good luck against whoever you play. Take care.
I really appreciate it, fellas.
All right, thanks.
We'll have a great day.
All right, thanks a bunch. I'm going to stop the broadcast now. Take care, everybody. And
see you later. Thanks for calling. Later.